Russ Silence. I was put on to Russ this year. By an associate. I checked him out and I liked him, and I was like, wow, this dude is definitely talented. So I went back and I listened to, some of his other projects. He released 2 this year. Silence is the album, and he released also a project called Brain Dead earlier this year. On this project, Silence, he didn't really spit a lot. It was more of the melodic singing aspect of what he can do, because Russ is producer, singer, rapper. He's one of those guys that does it all. I definitely wanted to review a Russ project because he is from Atlanta, and I definitely wanted to give shine to Southern artists that aren't necessarily part of the typical stereotypical Atlanta Southern sound, and Russ is definitely not that. You listen to any one of his projects, the 2 that he dropped this year, you couldn't really tell, at least not to me. But this guy, he is definitely talented. I like the production throughout the project, and it's short. It's 14 tracks and it's only 37 minutes. So it's not even 40 minutes long. Every track, I don't think there's a track really over like 3 minutes. So it's very short, sweet, and to the point. When you listen throughout the project, it's really like an emotional thing. Like the beats, the production, everything, it just really took me through an emotional roller coaster. And I really, like the song that really made me realize that, because I was like, I don't understand why this song is on here, is Brush Me, which is, kind of like a Caribbean. Yeah, I was like, why is this on here? Like everything felt so
diversity, man.
He did, and I guess that's when it really hit me that it was more of an emotional roller coaster, because the majority of it was dark and melodic and airy and spacey and stuff like that. But when Brush Me came, it just came out the blue, and on a lot of these tracks he's more singing, like I said, but on this one, Kali Buzz was doing the singing and doing all of that, and he was really rapping on it. So you definitely get, everything that he does is not a lot. So like if you want to go back and listen to a project that kind of you get more of Russ rapping, is the 2012 project. Oh damn, what the fuck is that?
Straight from Limbo?
Yeah, Straight from Limbo. Straight from Limbo. Thank you, Ken. Thank you. Leave that shit to me. I was struggling. But yeah, listen to that joint, and you could definitely hear him spitting more. And even on the earlier project this year too, Brain Dead. What I'm saying? He spent a little bit more on that than he is on this. But yeah, man, overall, what I'm saying? I definitely like this joint. It's definitely in the rotation now for me. When I want to get away from listening to all of the hip hop that we listen to. Like I always say, like one of the artists that I kind of tend to break the monotony of hip hop for me is The Weeknd, and now I could put Russ in that situation too.
I'm familiar with Russ and the Diamond Crew. Kind of started. We've actually posted their work on Dead Hip Hop dating back to 2012. So yeah, much like what Ralph is saying, when I came across them and noticed that they were from Atlanta, I definitely had them kind of like on my watch list and just kind of watching what they're doing. It was him, Bogus or Boogas. Dartland, I don't know if he's still with him, this other guy named John Anthony. So yeah, just started following them, Straight from Limbo, and I think his first project was Velvet Soul, and that was the first time he started rapping. It was like in 2011. During that time span, from that to Straight from Limbo to the projects he released this year, he's definitely has grown as an artist. His rapping is better. I think he's trying to creatively figure out who he's going to be as an artist and kind of combine all of these different things together, because he was solely like a producer. So now he's trying to do the singing and the rapping and all this stuff, and mesh it all together. So far it's working, but still I think when I listen to his work, to me it sounds like, there's songs, but I really don't get much more from it. And so over time, like, I like a song here, I like a song there, but it's really not like a lot of energy. And with this one, while creatively he was definitely doing some things differently, it kind of felt flat to me. So it was only really like a couple of songs that I liked on this project, which was like the first 2, and then I like Naked. I thought Naked was good, and again, it's kind of showing him, branching out and doing something different. But for him, man, I think a lot of people are really picking on to Russ and his ability to blend the two together along with the producing. And people are liking it. I think it's working for him. But for me, I think when I listen to this album, like when I got through with it, you know, it was, you know, I just kind of felt, I don't want to say empty, but it was like, you know, it didn't really pop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, so when I listen to Russ, I'm listening to a guy that's still, at least for me, still trying to kind of refine who he is as an artist, and I'm hearing songs, but I'm not hearing like that extra, like, at least for me, that like he's really feeling like what he's doing. It's becoming like a little bit more than just songs. Like, you know, you have people like that actually write a song. Like, take for instance, you have a guy that can sing, and he can sing really well, right? But you know, he'll have a song, he'll sing the song, but it doesn't really pop because he's just really doing what his talents allow him to do. He's just singing. But then you have other guys that would actually get into what they're doing. You can feel the emotion behind what they're singing. So, and that's what it kind of feels like with me with Russ. It's like, you know, he can write the lyrics, he can produce the tracks, he can sing, and he do all this stuff together, but it's still missing that it factor for me when I listen to him and I listen to this project. But again, I think he's a guy that, for me, you know, is kind of learning on the job. You know, overall, his talents is definitely gaining him some more exposure. But for me, this one just kind of didn't do it for me. And I've listened to all of his projects, but I haven't found that one that I'm like, okay, I think this guy, you know, got something here. But
yeah, I didn't know anything about this dude going in. I was just completely blind. I thought this album was okay. I mean, I just like Audio Push, I think he has like a place in the mainstream, like a good multi-talented artist that can produce, can sing. You know, he's a pretty good songwriter. That's one thing I noticed about this album, that throughout these tracks he's a good songwriter. And you know, most times, you know, artist comes in, they just blah 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 blah. But he actually had some good songs about, you know, him coming up. You know, he kind of went personal, which I like, that he kind of pulled the curtain back on what's that, Yellow. And curtain Coming Through, that's like one of my favorite tracks on there, Coming Through, when he was rapping. I like his rapping. I just wish he'd done more of it. Yeah, like the second half of this album, it was like, whoa, like it got the Nipsey and what's that, Connected.
Wait, Nipsey?
Nipsey? I mean, not Nipsey. I'm Gipsy. I'm sorry. My bad.
Gypsy.
Gypsy. My bad.
Gypsy. You wrong for that, bro.
I think the second half, it just kind of, it went too slow. And I understand, you know, he's showing his, you know, other side that he can sing and everything, but it was just like, after Coming Through, I like Coming Through. I'm like, okay, yeah, this I like this side of Russ. And then it got to Connected. And I understand he was kind of speaking on women issues, talking about, you know, young females growing up in the inner city and all that stuff. That was fine. But for me, I was just like, damn, this is getting kind of not really boring, but I'm like, damn, the energy of this album just went down for me after Coming Through. So I mean, overall, I thought this was a pretty okay project. I mean, like I said, I understood the slower songs, and I like he finished it out with Army, more up-tempo song. And yeah, I didn't like Me or Brush Me. Those like back to back. Those was like the worst tracks for me on this album.
I was trying to pick it up for you, B.
You hating, man.
You hate.
No.
You hate.
I wasn't feeling I wasn't really feeling that much, man. Then that Brush Me and Me was just like, those were the two worst, like, back to back to have. But then like I said, he finished strong with Army, so I thought this project was cool. Like I said, it started off good, and then just the second half just kind of got too singy-ish for me. So, but he's a multi-talented guy, so I can appreciate that about him.
I never heard of Russ either until FIFO recommended it. Once I listened to it, I mean, I kind of saw why. Like, if somebody played this for me, I feel like I wouldn't be like, God, this is whack, this is terrible, turn this off. Mm-hmm. But I feel like 5 minutes later, I would forget I even heard it. The way it started, I can't lie, I'ma get high tonight. I was like, oh, Jesus, no.
How you singing, Mike? How you doing?
Man, hey, I'm trying to put a little smooth on it right quick. I can't lie, I'ma get high tonight. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta have that.
You gotta have the hand. The hand levels out the tone. That's what your problem was.
That's what I was missing.
Yeah, if you had the hand. Listening to this, it wasn't that it was bad. It was just that it was definitely not my kind of music at all. For this album, I felt no cohesion. I felt no personality. I didn't find anything interesting to this. The only thing I thought was cool was that he was trying to do something different, like very different. But it was just the style of the songs. I didn't pull anything at all from it. So by the time it was over, I was just like, I don't fucking get it.
I went back and listened to it again. I don't get it. And then I saw a picture of Russ, and not that the picture can tell you anything, but I was just like, that's not what I expected him to look like. Because I thought maybe he was an Islander. Because it was like a weird Jamaican accent thrown in there sometimes. So I was just like, what is going on? Army was the only track where I was like, okay, this is fresh. Because he switched his flow up, and I liked the way he was rhyming. Even though he said that shit about, this is 50 mixed with M mixed with Machiavelli. I don't know, man. Like, I know rappers are supposed to be a little cocky, but that might be taking shit a little bit too far for an album like this. Because I didn't get a spitter vibe from Russ. And I don't think that's what Russ is going for. He's going for, I'm a songwriter. It's just, I didn't get anything from the songs. This is the first time where I've really listened to an album that I didn't have anything like technical or overly critical to say about it. I just don't get it. Like, I don't get the appeal. I don't get why people are so interested in this. None of these songs interested me, especially when I got to Paulo Coelho. I was just like, what is going on right now? Like, what does this song have to do with Paulo Coelho? I don't get it at all. And then when it got to Brush Me,
See?
I'm a romantic man despite what you heard of.
See?
What? Your body a murder. Come brush me. What is going on right now? I don't understand. I'm so lost. And then when it ended with me, I'm with B, I was just like, that was the most anticlimactic ending for an album ever. And he had another line where he said, Drake is the only one out here killing it. And it's funny that he said that because that's the kind of feel I get from him is like a Drake. Like, I hate to say it like that, but like a poor man's Drake. Because it was like the airy production with like the singy rap thing he does. What I feel like when you have that kind of really minimalist production, you have to have an MC or a vocalist that can carry the song essentially by themselves. And I don't really feel like he was doing that. I don't feel like he was putting enough into these songs to make me say, oh, even though the beat's not really there, I can still jam this. I just gotta, like Ken said, empty. I just gotta, I feel so like, You know what I'm saying? One more down. Yeah, I went back and listened to Pink Elephant only because I was like, okay, maybe this is just his style for this one particular album. So I went back and listened to that one too. Same thing. I was like, okay, this is just his style. But I mean, it seems like he has a following. Seems like dudes like him, so
It's working for him.
It's working for him. So hey, he ain't gotta listen to me. I ain't no fucking body. I just don't. It didn't really move me. I can't say this is whack. I don't think this is whack. I don't think this is terrible. I don't think this is shitty. It is just 110% not for me.
Again, you know, I like it because it's melodic. He definitely can spit. That first project I was saying back in 2012, something from Limbo.
Straight from Limbo.
Straight from Limbo. You know what I'm saying? He spits more on that. It definitely bumps in the whip. Go download it, check it out.
There seems to be a general interest in rappers that sing and rap at the same time, and I think Russ is kind of fitting into that mold. And I think part of his attraction is because of that. He's able to do that as well as produce, and he's like this, entity that can do it all without reaching outside of his circle. But listening to this, for me, it just felt like it was something lacking. It sounded like he's still learning on the job, and he's learning how to combine all of his talents into one creative engine that works for him. And apparently whatever he's doing so far is working for him. And, I think if he continue on this track, Russ will continue to go and get out there. I think for me, I'm still waiting and seeing. Like I said, I'm not new to Russ. I've been following him, and the whole DIEMON crew since 2012. But again, they've just kind of been sitting there, and I'm just kind of having them filed away, and just waiting and watching and seeing what they're going to do as a collective. But again, it's not a bad project. It just felt flat to me after I finished listening to it, and and that was it. It was like that it factor was missing, and that's it. So again, I mean, Russ, keep doing your thing, man, and it's working for you, and keep working, and that's it. But right now, this is just not anything for me at the moment.
Going into it, I'm like, okay, he should rap a little bit more because I actually like this rapping. His rapping was cool, but then when it just slowed down with all that slow stuff and the singing, and I was like, oh man, he could have kept the kept the energy of this album a little bit more, I would have been like, okay, cool, because I think Yellow, 90s Babies, Coming Through, Army, them like the tracks that I like from Russ. But I understand why he made the Keeping the Faith and All My Angels and stuff like that. But it just wasn't really for me, just not on this album. It just messed up the feel of this album for me. But other than that, I mean, it's cool. I really don't have no desire to listen to it again. I'm just gonna, like FIFA said, I'm gonna go listen to his. What's the other one? Older one that's called? You say he was rapping more. Yeah, I'll check that one out. But hey, if Russ got his fan base. Keep doing your thing, man.
I like when artists are choosing to be different versus taking a really easy route. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate the fact that Russ is not doing something overly typical for an Atlanta rapper, especially. I like that he's taking chances and he's doing something completely outside the box. It's just this particular sound does not resonate with me in any way, but that doesn't mean that it's whack or bad. It just means that I have no desire to listen to it. I know for a fact I won't be listening to this project again. I didn't find the beats to be really interesting. I like that Russ has something to say. I just didn't particularly care for the way he chose to say it. I think it lacked cohesion. It lacked feeling for the type of music that he's trying to do. Like I said before with a Drake, I get emotion, I get passion, even though I don't like it. I get passion, I get emotion. With this, I get a formula. It feels like I get, instead of your mama's awesome hamburger that was made from fucking ground up hamburger meat in a big chunk, I just get like a Wendy's burger. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just feels like it was just mass produced, like, here you go, versus something that you really put a lot of time and effort into. So but yeah, he, like everybody said, he already has a fan base. Apparently people love him. I guarantee he's got chicks lined up down the street for this dude's music and for his shows. So don't listen to me. You ain't got, it's just, you ain't gotta have some nerdy motherfucker like me sitting outside of his show, like jumping up and down crying for Russ. But I'm probably a little too old. I don't think I'm part of Russ's demographic. I don't think he cares about reaching out to me. So, but yeah, keep doing your thing, Russ. That's it, man.